Okay, so I'm on my Facebook page here, facebook.com/best way to study, or you can just go search how to study in college, and the page will appear. First question this week is from Natalie. Natalie writes, what you're saying is absolutely true. I have a problem to keep my focus on a paper. It really takes time. Do you have an idea how I can map the mess, the puzzles, and start writing? I think I'm good in talking and not in writing, thanks. When we're babies, we first learn how to communicate by talking with each other. Also, if you go back throughout human history, we've told stories, we've taught lessons all through talking, and then writing is a relatively new development as far as human ideas, human technology, and for most, talking is a lot easier. So a quick tip here, let's say you're writing about pens. Why pens? Because I'm going to use it in an example later on, but let's say you have to write a paper about pens, so you can start off and pretend sitting next to you, say in a coffee shop or on your phone, talking with a friend. You're going to tell your friend all the cool things you know about pens. And then as you're talking, that let's say you actually do have someone there. Just say, hey, you know what, I need to write this paper. Can I talk with you and share my ideas with you? And just talk it out first. And then once you're talking it out, then you can start to see, okay, here's how I'm going to write my paper. I'm going to write first about the history of pens, then I'm going to write about the benefits of pens, and then I'm going to write about the future of pens. And so once you're talking like that, then you can note down how you're going to do that. And then as you're talking, you can write it down. Write down exactly what you're saying. Just like I'm doing in this presentation here, I'm talking because it's a lot easier for me than to actually write something. Let's go to the example here. Okay, so up here we see saying the word pen, right? If we're just talking pen, 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 that's a lot easier because our mind can translate that easier into the idea of a pen, a solid pen that you can write with. But if you see it on a piece of paper, for most people, if they haven't practiced, they will take a look at that. Again, a pen, P-E-N, those are just symbols that represent the sound pen and that get to the solid idea of a pen, something you write with. So Stephen asks, I find it difficult to remember what I've read. What do I do? And then Salam, he wanted to bump that, and he says, me too. So I asked them this question. What specifically are you reading and not remembering? Plus, if there is anything that you do read and you can remember. This is important because there's some things people can read and they can remember it. In their mind, it's easier to attach to. So back to the example, the clicker. Maybe there's a word for that. I don't know anything about pens, but or maybe the ballpoint tip. Versus if they know nothing about pens at all, so they start talking about ballpoint, and they're like, "What's this all about?" Right? And so if ideas aren't solid, then it'll take you a really hard time to remember, or a really long time to remember what it is, because the language is new. So when anything's new and they're not familiar, then it's going to take you that much longer to remember what you've read. Excuse me, what you've read. So Stephen and Salam, I find it difficult to remember what I've read. What do I do? Here's what you do. Make sure that each word that you read, and if you have to translate it, that you can get the solid idea. So if it's a pen, that you can see the pen, you can feel the pen, and know what the words mean.